Thanks to the Arizona State Tax Credit for Public Schools, it is possible to pay up to $400 of your child or anyone else's K-12 extracurricular expenses and receive a dollar-for-dollar reduction on your state income taxes. Have a student participating in elementary or high school athletics? Pay their participation fees using a tax credit donation and receive a dollar-for-dollar reimbursement on your tax return. Have a student performing with their school band out of state? Pay their travel costs using a tax credit donation. Have a student participating in test preparation for the ACT or SAT? Pay for their prep courses and materials with a tax credit donation. A high school student taking a CTE industry certification assessment? Put that tax credit option to work. Only have fur babies and no students in our schools? Make a tax credit donation to help a class take an educational field trip to the zoo. Whether it's for your child, a grandchild, or just to help students out at your neighborhood school, the Arizona Public School Tax Credit Donation Program makes it easy to fund extracurricular and enrichment activities for K-12 students and to get a dollar-for-dollar reduction or refund on your taxes. Spend your tax dollars in your neighborhood and make the day a little brighter for the students in your local Peoria Unified School. You now have until April 15th to make and claim your tax credit donation. Go to www.peoriaunified.org/tax credit to find out more or to make an online donation today.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's board meeting of the Peoria Unified School District. We're going to call this meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. And we just wanted to acknowledge those who were able to join us live and also those who are joining us via technology and will be watching the replay later. We're going to begin with our opening exercises. First, we're going to start with a moment of silence, and we just asked during tonight's moment of silence to keep in our minds the student that was lost this week at Vistancia Elementary, the staff, the admin, and the students and family of that student. And then Mrs. Rooks is going to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We are going to begin tonight's meeting with Section 3, the address agenda, considering adoption or recommending changes. Do any board members have any changes they would like to make to this meeting's agenda or anything that needs to be pulled from consent? I have public comment from Mr. Toby pulling 5.9. Is there anything else that you'd like pulled?
I would like to recommend the change of moving public comment 9.1 back up to 5.1.
Just remember, we're going to ask that all applause during the meeting be kept. We just want to avoid any disruption so that we can hear
President
each other
Proudfoot,
clearly. Yes.
just one point of order. The public cannot pull an item from an agenda. They can make a comment on an item on a consent agenda.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pull that then for Mr. Toby,
Yes.
5.9. Okay. So we're going to be pulling, is there a second on the pulling of agenda item 9.1? Okay, so we'll move forward with vote. I need a motion to approve this meeting's agenda as presented minus 5.9.
I'll move that we approve this evening's agenda minus 5.9.
I will second.
We have a motion made by Mr. Sandoval and a second made by Mrs. Ewing. Board members, please cast your votes.
President Proudfoot and members of the board, before I open the voting, if you could just allow me a moment to make those changes. Thank you. President Proudfoot, members of the board, and community members, we may need to refresh our screens for it to reflect properly on the projector.
Thank you.
President Proudfoot, Ms. Donner, do we need to do a voice vote?
I show on my screen, Superintendent Molino, that the motion has passed. So So I believe we might be having some technical difficulties. I'm happy to run us through a voice vote.
Yes. Let's do voice vote.
Let's do a quick voice vote.
Very good. Mr. Sandoval,
Yes.
Dr. Sorensen,
Yes.
Mrs. Rooks,
Nay.
Mrs. Ewing,
Yes.
President Proudfit.
Yes. The motion passes with 4 yeses and 1 nay. Moving on to section 4, recognitions. Welcome, Ms. Sari.
Thank you very much, and good evening, President Proudfit, members of the board, cabinet, and guests. I am very pleased to bring a highlight this evening that is yet one more reason to choose the Peoria Unified School District. It's highlighting our award-winning career and technical education programs, and quite fitting as February is National CTE Month. During CTE Month, we have had an opportunity to share about many of the different CTE programs that we have throughout the school district. Many of you, and certainly if you have children in the Peoria Unified School District, would know that we begin this work as early as in our junior high classes, where students experience TLC, or technology life careers, and we make sure that they are set up for success well before they even enter high school and have an opportunity to explore all the different pathways. I want to thank City of Glendale's Mayor Wires, as well as City of Peoria's Mayor Beck, for both signing proclamations declaring that February is CTE month in both of those cities. Here to talk to you a little bit about one of our incredible CTE programs, I am joined tonight by our Director of Career and Technical Education, Mrs. Barb Coakley, and I'd like to invite her up to kick us off tonight.
Thank you, President Proudfit, governing board members. I'm thrilled to be here and join you tonight in celebrating CTE Month. Today's cutting-edge, rigorous, and relevant career and technical education equips students for high-wage, high-skill, high-demand careers ranging from finance to welding, cybersecurity, to medical assisting and robotics. Peoria Unified Academic Services offers 26 different career pathways, including the Met Honors Program, and collaborates with Westmec for an additional 24 pathways, expanding the array of opportunities for our students to discover their passions and foster essential skills for post-secondary success. Earlier today, you were provided with the big picture book that outlines those 26 different career pathway programs that we have here in Peoria Unified. Our total program model is the guiding force behind all of our CTE classes, with a focus on hands-on lab experience, industry certifications, and college credits. CTE instructors are committed to cultivating students' career growth and nurturing their professional skills, and commitment is evident in the firsthand account from some of our past student speakers that you've seen the past few weeks. The CTE programs culminate with the opportunity to complete work-based learning experiences within their industry that enrich students' understanding of their chosen career pathways. One of the CTE programs that is near and dear to our hearts is our Ed Professions program, which enables students to embark on a journey towards becoming future educators. Through field experience and mentorship, students in Ed Professions 1 and 2 gain practical insights into the teaching profession while earning their Parapro credential and college credits through Glendale Community College. Our Grow Your Own program facilitates a paid internship for our Ed Professions students, exemplified tonight by Tyler Heckel, a senior at Sunrise Mountain, who is here this evening to share his experiences in this program. So I'd like to invite Tyler up to share some information with you.
Good evening. My name is Tyler Heckel. I'm a senior at Sunrise Mountain High School. Also, I've been serving the Peoria Unified School District for the past year as a paid intern. A little insight about me is I hate small talk. I mean, I hate it. So I always have these questions ready to go in case I have to make conversation. And as a senior, my go-to question, my question of the moment is, what are your plans after high school? And too often I get a response along the lines of, I'm not sure what I want to do next. This couldn't be further from the truth for me. I started my journey in ed professions as a junior in high school. Teaching has always been a career that has interested me, but I've never been quite sure. That's why I took the class, as a chance to see if this career path could be my profession. After a few weeks of learning key skills such as engaging a classroom, teaching and not presenting, and how to write and ask high-level questions, I was ready to start in the field. The first class I worked with was an 8th grade English class. I wish I could say I stepped right in and I was a natural, but truth be told, I was awful. I lacked experience and confidence, but despite all that, I loved it. I was hooked. And the great thing about lacking experience and confidence is you can gain it with practice. After my semester was over, I said goodbye to my 8th grade students. I was given an opportunity. In addition to having field experience from my ed professions class, I could work as a paid intern for the Peoria Unified School District. This meant for 3+ hours a day, I was working in the field with the 7th grade classroom. Hearing about this opportunity, I applied. Working through the application process, I gained valuable insights about building a resume and interview skills. Then, I was notified I got the job, and my career as an intern for the Peoria Unified School District began. My time with those 7th graders enhanced my teaching ability exponentially. No longer did I lack experience and confidence because I spent time learning, practicing those skills in the field every day. I would not be the future teacher or man I am today without that valuable hands-on experience given to me by the internship. I've worked with large groups and small groups, teaching like reading, grammar, and my personal favorite, essay writing. I've attended PLCs and PDs, furthering my knowledge and skill about the profession. I've been given the opportunity to sit down, examine standards and curriculum, and craft an entire unit to teach the 7th graders all by myself. I've attended national teaching conferences where I competed and placed 6th in the country. I've done all these things and gained all those skills about my future job before I could legally buy a lottery ticket. That is the amazing thing about CTE and the Ed Professions program. Which leads me to present day. I'm still gratefully working with the Peoria Unified School District as an intern. I was also given the chance to work with one student who had technology restrictions, changing TLC curriculum to fit his needs so he can have an opportunity to learn about careers like I did when I was his age. We are currently working on interviewing different staff at an elementary school to gain first-person wisdom on their jobs. We have many other upcoming projects, and I'm excited and grateful to help teach and mentor this wonderful kid. I know that when time comes and I have my own classroom, my pedagogy will only be enhanced by my time in the Ed Professions program. In my personal and professional opinion, without a doubt, CTE works. It has prepared me for the next stage of life, and I truly and deeply thank you for that. Next year, I'll be attending Grand Canyon University, majoring in English for secondary education. The Ed Professions program has helped confirm what grade I want to teach and confirm my love for teaching English. It is my hope that one day I can return to the district and complete my student teaching and start my teaching career in the Peoria Unified School District to repay them for their help with finding and practicing my career. And lastly, I want to quickly thank Park Ridge Elementary staff and students. The junior high team there have bestowed their years of teaching experience on me. More importantly, they've accepted me, treating me not as a former student, but one of their own. Finally, my students, who I may or may not show this to them to help them public speak or something. I'll figure it out. You are the reason why I love this profession. I want to thank each and every one of you individually. Thank you, President Proudfit and the governing board, for your time.
Does anyone have any comments they want to share? Perfect.
Congratulations, and wow, thank you so much for providing all of that. And you are very brave to start off with your first teaching classes with the 7th and 8th graders. I've done some substitute teaching with the 7th and 8th graders. They're a super fun bunch, lots of personality, but it's not an easy classroom to walk into, so congratulations. It's really exciting. I hope that once you get your degree that you'll come back to Peoria. Parkridge Elementary, you have a great staff. They have a great staff over there, great students and families too. So congratulations, and thank you so much for telling us all about the great program.
Thank you.
Yeah, Tyler, thank you. Just not only for being here this evening, but really for choosing a career path that changes lives and lifts up others. You had a little story about a student, in your speech, and just looking forward to the many lives that you're going to impact throughout your career in this career path that not only changes lives, but also touches every other career path out there, right? So thank you for that, and just congratulations on all the accolades as you were speaking and all the accomplishments, and just continue to be you and the best version of yourself. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Tyler, that was really impressive. You definitely said some things that touched me when you talk about teaching, not presenting. Major difference. When you highlight that you start out, even an expert is a beginner when they first start out, and that growth mindset to then develop your craft. Really, really impressive, Tyler. And we need the very best and brightest to get in the field of neighborhood public education. And you've obviously represented yourself to be that. I think we should ask every student what they plan on doing after high school, right? Because graduation is not the end. That's the beginning of the rest of your life. So I know CTE is a huge part of post-secondary success. I know the internship and the opportunities you get to work in the field at such a young age is such a great benefit. And in my eyes, the block schedule is expensive from a monetary point of view, but the opportunities it provides our kids for all the additional classes that they can get, so you can find, a fulfilling life with purpose, identity, and community. So, Tyler, thank you so much for being here and really touching me with what you said. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Tyler. I'm going to echo up pretty much everything up here because that presentation that you just gave was amazing to hear. And it's awesome that you were able to show that to us and come and explain how that program influenced you in your life and in other people's lives. And that's just great to hear it up here as board members so that we get that opportunity to see, what you're going through and how it's affecting your life after you leave Peoria Unified. And I will say, go Mustangs. I'm a fellow Mustang alumni. So I just had to give a shout out to that for Sunrise Mountain High School. And, just good luck towards Grand Canyon University. And just, I do hope that you come back here and, bring that back into the classrooms to help future kids. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Tyler, I'm so grateful that you are the student that spoke tonight, because as a board member, when I hear a student like you speak, it reminds me why we all do this, why this is so important. You're so well-spoken. You have a level of confidence and a level of being assertive that I definitely did not have when I was your age. I started college and still had to kind of figure out what I wanted to do. The remarkable thing about the CTE program is that you don't just get to learn, you get to experience. And there's something about that experience that really shows you where your passion lies. And if you can survive and love in 7th and 8th grade classroom, you are gonna do just fine. So I'm so excited to hopefully stay in touch and for you to come back and report all the great things that you're doing. And thank you for being a great example of the students in our district and the gem that is the CTE program.
Thank you.
Moving on to 4.2, board comments. Board members, this is an opportunity for us to publicly recognize schools, groups, or individuals who have made contributions to the district. I just wanted to start off tonight reading something about a slight change to the agenda that you may have noticed. We've simply moved the business of the board, the action and discussion items, to the top of the meeting. This will prioritize tonight's business and provide an opportunity for those who wish to speak on something that may be a future item to do so later in the evening. No other aspect of the meeting has changed. We value the input of our stakeholders on agenda items, which are always posted no less than 24 hours before each meeting. In addition, we invite public comment on items not on the agenda to be considered for discussion on a future agenda. As a new board member, I really tried to commit myself to listening and learning from everyone in the district. And luckily, we have a board, we have admin, and we have a district that is very generous with sharing their expertise. I've listened to countless parents and employees. I've met with superintendents, been in meetings, probably a lot more executive sessions than an average board member gets to experience. I have visited all over the campus, and I have pored over the data that we collected during the superintendent search. All of it indicated across every group of stakeholders that the stakeholders wanted us to be working on board efficacy and focus. I hope that this slight adjustment to the agenda will help with our effectiveness and efficacy so we can focus on our most important stakeholders, which is, of course, our students. I just wanted to share that and then wanted to share some things that we've been doing this week. Bringing up CTE, I've been able to visit lots of the CTE classrooms. As a board member, it's just incredible, the educational opportunities that our high schoolers have. As a parent, you can ask my daughter who's here. I came home and said, you got to see this, you got to do this. You're never going to believe what you can do. These kids are heading out of our district and into careers as leaders, confident in what they want to accomplish, and we are seeing them accomplish great things. So that is absolutely incredible. I was able to visit the Met campus, which if you have not had a chance to see the Met campus and one of my favorite buildings in the district, the old Peoria, Maine, it is absolutely incredible. These students, and I tell them time and time again, man, you are so lucky. I was not educated in Peoria district, and seeing the opportunities our students have absolutely is just so exciting. We also had an opportunity today, a few members of us, to be able to attend the awards assembly for Danielle Airy, who received the Communicator of the Year award. So congratulations again. It was wonderful to hear the wonderful things you had to say about our district, and thank you for your leadership. Mrs. Ewing?
Thank you. In regards to CTE, I did get a chance to go over to Liberty High School. They were doing a mock session for their medical assistance program, so bringing in volunteers and so forth. So it was really great to see. They're bringing in volunteers, and then they got to pretend like they were patients, and then the students would take their vitals and so forth. But it was great to see the classrooms and all of the equipment that they have access to train, so that when they finish those classes, they're ready to go right out in the workforce. So that was really exciting with a CTE program. I also today got an opportunity to attend the finals for the spelling bee before they go on to state. And there was a total of 33 participants, and they went through 10 rounds. One of our individuals, Danica Chen from Sunset Heights, she made it into the top 3. But when it got down to the top 6, 4 of those students were Peoria students. So I'm so proud of those students. And we had one student who was within that top 6 who had been earlier in the day over at Peoria Traditional School doing their patriotic speech. So just amazing students over there, and I got to attend the patriotic speech contest over at Peoria Traditional School. So congratulations to all of those students, to those families, to those teachers. It was a really great event. And then Desert Harbor, got a big shout out to Desert Harbor on their STEAM event that they had. Sarah, she put it on. It was absolutely amazing. I'm told that they do out of all of the STEAM events across the entire district, they're the best. That's what they told me. They might be biased, but, and thank you to all the teachers who put in time for the Meet the Teacher night recently. So that's all I have for today. Thank you.
Thank you, President Proudfit. Yeah, I was going to touch on CTE, but everything that President Proudfit stated is right. The only thing I do want to add, Ms. Coakley, thank you just for your forward thinking and always looking at integrating programs that continue to keep our students relevant as they get into the 21st century workforce. So thank you for that. That said, I do want to give a quick shout out to a club team that we have. It's a hockey team, and they are actually called the Coyotes, Centennial Coyotes. But so this team, it's comprised in part of students from Liberty, Sunrise Mountain, and Centennial. They won the championship this past weekend in a score of 4-3 against Notre Dame Prep. So big shout out to those players and that sport and that team. Last thing, I want to recognize our counselors in this week of National Counselor Week, if you will. I mean, just again, the invaluable impact that they have on our students. You know, part of the village and what they do to make sure that our youth are really just helping them realize their purpose and their path, and even their assistance in and around, you know, occupational skills, human skills as they get out into the workforce. Just an invaluable component to what we do here in Peoria Unified. That is synergistic and certainly complements what we do from all of our programs, our CT programs, et cetera. So thank you, counselors.
Mr. Sorensen?
Yeah, I know it's CTE month, but February also marks winter sports postseason. So good luck to all of our winter sports, middle schools competing for district championships, and all of our coaches who provide that opportunity for our kids. So good luck in the postseason.
Yeah, President Proudfoot, thank you. I just wanted to have a couple tours that I've been doing for the past couple weeks. Sun Valley Elementary, thank you to the principal for the tour and made sure that Mr. Nuttall was with me, so we had to make sure that we said go Bengals so that it's not Tiger. But it was really great, Mr. Nuttall chaperoning me with the principal at Sun Valley, the AVID program, being able to see the AVID teacher in the classroom and how she's interacting with the students. That was really great. I know Dr. Hernandez is over there smiling, so I know what she's talking about. Oakwood Elementary, I wanted to say thank you to the principal and the assistant principal for making the time to give me a tour. The school was amazing. The principal and assistant principal really had a lot of humor and making it so much fun to be on that campus for that tour. They talked about the reading interventionist that they have at the school and how that reading interventionist went out for a grant to cover the instruction to help the students at the school. So I think that's really great. They talked about the positive relationship of having the SRO on the campus. So that's just really great to hear those things. Coyote Hills Elementary, thank you to the principal for giving me a tour, the classrooms and meeting a couple of teachers. I got to see the interaction in the classroom between one of the teachers and the students of having a waiting area when they're working on one-on-one or group setting. She had a cute little sign that had waiting area for if students have questions, that was the area they would wait. So I just thought that was a pretty cool, neat way. Country Meadows Elementary, thank you to the principal and the conversations that we had with Mr. Nuttall and the staff there. They really opened up to what they're seeing on their campus. I got to go into one of the 7th and 8th grade classrooms and listen to a couple of patriotic speeches. So that was pretty cool in the back of the room to hear the students doing their speeches. And I did get the chance to talk to the SRO at that school, and he was really loving the vibe at the school, the relationship building with staff and students and parents. So the last one was today, Mr. Nuttall also joined me for Kachina Elementary. Great conversation with the principal there. I know he's new coming in, and I really loved the ideas that he came in with helping to support our RISE program. I also got to see Mrs. Clay was there. She was my kid's assistant principal at Estancia, so that was cool to kind of see that again. So thank you to those principals, Mr. Nuttall, for giving me the tour of the schools. I did also had to make a comment that I really did not support moving public comment to the end of board meetings. I believe that it doesn't send the right message to our community. I believe that it is a priority of hearing from the community at the beginning because we have a lot of families, we have parents that are also trying to get home to their kids. And I just want to make sure that we are showing value of their public comment at the beginning and moving it to the end of the meeting without any consideration. I don't think that was the right thing to do, so I did want to make that note. And last, I wanted to send my condolences to the family that lost a young student last week in the Visansi Elementary community. I wanted to the family and to say thank you to Mr. Molino and the district. I know Laura Vesley was out there. Dale Shue was out there at the school on Friday. I wanted to say thank you to the community, the parents. They have been sharing donation sites for the family. They've been sharing the meal train for the family. I wanted to say thank you to our mayor, Jason Beck, because that Friday last week, he sent over SROs to the school to help with traffic control so that the staff could really focus on the students that lost one of their friends. I wanted to say thank you to Mrs. Bennett, our principal at the Visansi Elementary, for supporting all of the students and being there for them on Friday and the rest of the week. And I'm truly sorry to the family who lost their child, and to please keep the family in your thoughts.
Thank you. We have one item that was removed from consent, 6.1. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Molino. We have superintendent comments. I just skipped right over the superintendent. All right, Mr. Molino.
President Proudfit, members of the governing board, cabinet, guests, and staff. Cactus High School Air Force Junior ROTC held their annual military ball again this year. However, this year students received a big surprise. Bus drivers Jill Sullivan and Angela Beck surprised the cadets by rolling out a red carpet and decorating their bus for the evening. The drivers made sure the cadets arrived in style, and in following with the Night in Paris theme, Cactus Culinary students catered the event with a Parisian meal and dessert. Thank you to Jill and Angela, as well as Cactus Culinary, for going above and beyond for their fellow Cobras. Peoria High School Panther Jazz Band was recently selected to be featured for the ensemble at this year's Arizona Music Educators Association Conference. Out of the 30 groups that auditioned, the Panther Jazz Band was the only one chosen for this esteemed event. We congratulate band director Jeffrey Malone for guiding these young musicians and the Panther Jazz Band on their incredible performance. And looking ahead, next week, parent-teacher conferences will be held across the district. This is a critical way our parents can engage in the educational process and partner with their teacher to help achieve academic success. Our teachers look forward to connecting one-on-one with parents in this important endeavor, maintaining transparency and effective communication about their child's progress. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Molino. All right, moving on to section 6, items removed from consent. We had one item that was removed from consent, and we have public comment tied to this item. Mr. Jeff Toby.
Good evening, President Proudfit, board, staff, and guests. Just real quick on this one, I approve and I support field trips and whatnot. Going back to my previous suggestion for an agenda item and maybe a rule or practice is when we spend amounts of money from the district in excess of $100,000, it shouldn't be on a consent agenda item. I believe we need to be able to discuss it, not only you guys as a board, but us as the community be able to comment on it. So thank you for pulling this item. But I would like to see it as a rule or practice that anything over $100,000 that gets pulled from consent so we don't gloss over it. I know last time we had $1 million expenditure in consent that was glossed over. I think there's some verbiage that needs to get revisited on that one to make that all copacetic. But just to show trust and transparency with the community, showing that we're good stewards of money, of the taxpayer dollar, I really think that it should be implemented. So that's all I have to say on this one. But I support field trips. It's the highlight of my students' quarters going on field trips such as these. So I approve of the money purchase, but I think we should have it talked about. So thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Is there any comments from the board? Mrs. Ewing? Mr. Sandoval?
I don't have any.
Dr. Sorensen? Ms. Rooks?
I don't have any, but maybe, yeah, just 100,000 consent agenda. But no, I don't have any questions.
Okay, that being said, I need a motion to approve the bid award for IFB 23-28-07 for Field Trip Educational Program Entertainment Center Restaurant for the period of 1 year and renewable for up to 4 additional 1-year extensions. Is there a motion?
I'll move that we approve the Field Trip Educational Program Entertainment Center Restaurant for the period of 1 year and renewable for up to 4 additional 1-year extensions.
Thank you. I will second. We have a motion made by Mr. Sandoval and a second made by myself. Board members, please cast your vote. Motion passes with 5 yeas. Thank you, Board. Moving on to Section 7, our action items for this evening. Our first action item, 7.1, consideration of approval of contract language for administrative certified teachers, certified non-teaching professionals, and support staff for the 2024-2025 school year. We do have some public comment tied to this. First, I was going to invite up Ms. Laura Vesley.
Good evening, President Proudfit, members of the board, cabinet, and guests. Tonight, I bring forth contract language for the purpose of the district to issue contracts for the 24-25 school year. All of our contracts have been reviewed by legal counsel, and I'd like to take just a couple of moments to go through some of the contracts where there are some suggested revisions. The first one is the administrative contract. If you look down at the bottom of the first page, you'll notice that our legal counsel is just looking to make this paragraph a little bit more clear and concise. So I'll give you just a moment to read through that at the bottom of the first and second page. It's just really talking about our information on our application is true and accurate, that we hold the appropriate certifications and clearances from the state of Arizona. We have our IVB card, so it's really just changing the language to make it a little bit more concise. If we continue to scroll down, we're going to get to the, again, we're taking out a sentence here. This is a sentence that our legal counsel does not believe needs to be in our contract language. Our current contract does not need to make reference to an employee's eligibility for a new contract. We will simply follow the law, and the district only needs to follow the law in order to non-renew the agreements at issue. So it is a recommendation that we just remove that sentence. And those are the changes for the administrative contract. I'd like to now go to our, I believe it's going to be the non-teaching professional contract. The non-teaching professional contract can serve as a contract for many different employee groups. Again, it is the non-teaching professionals contract. That serves as a contract for our related service providers, so our SLPs, OTs, PTs, our social workers, our behavior interventionists, and school counselors. So we look here. We're going to just scroll down. Again, just some minor changes on the bottom of page 1 and going to the top of page 2 just to make it a little bit more clear and concise. If you continue to scroll down to page 3 right here, again, the process for non-renewal, our legal counsel is just recommending we take that out because we're going to follow the law if we were having to look at any kind of a non-renewal. He's also recommending that we take out this middle paragraph. I'll give you just a second to read. This paragraph is really more for our certified teachers. Arizona Department of Education has allowed emergency teaching certificates and alternative certificates, but at this time, there are not any kind of emergency certificates or alternate certificates for these employee groups, so there is no need to have this paragraph in this contract. And those are the changes for our non-teaching professionals contract. If we go to our contract for school psychologists, again, you're going to see very similar changes. If we go to the top of page 2, you'll see just some minor changes, just adding for some clarity. And then going to page 3, you're going to see the same sentences that are removed for non-renewal. It is not necessary to have it in this contract, and we would always follow the state law and work with legal counsel on any kinds of non-renewals. And again, for our school psychologists, there are no alternative certs, emergency certs that are available to this group, so we are simply recommending that we remove this paragraph. And those are the changes for the school psychologist contract language. Our legal counsel also reviewed our certified contracts, our classified exempt letters of reasonable assurance, and our classified hourly letters of reasonable assurance, and there were no suggested revisions to those specific contract language. All of those have been uploaded for your preview as well. So with that, if you have any questions, I stand for questions, but we are also looking and hoping that you will approve the contract language. If you approve it tonight, we will begin building contracts tomorrow morning and next week. It takes our department, along with our benefits team and our payroll team, about a good week to week and a half to build the contracts within our vision system. They will be electronic contracts, and our hope will be that upon approval tonight, we'll be able to bring the rehire list for our administrative staff, certified staff, non-teaching professionals to the February 22nd Governing Board meeting.
Thank you so much, Ms. Vesley. Is there any board comments or questions? Ms. Ewing?
I don't have any, thank you.
Mr. Sandoval?
I don't at the moment, thank you.
Dr. Sorensen? Mrs. Rooks?
None at this time.
And there is none for me. I need a motion to approve contract.
President
I'm so
Proudfoot,
sorry.
public-
Jeff, we have a public comment tied to that. I'm sorry. Mr. Jeff Toby?
Hello again. Yeah, just a question really about some of this contract language, specifically the one for the non-teaching certified employees, specifically social workers. The changed language as far as employees now agree and certify that they carry proper certification and licensure to perform employees' professional duties. I talked to Toby Zavala, the director for the Arizona Board of Behavioral Health, and it was explained to me that psychotherapy, according to Arizona law, is the assessment, diagnosis, and treatment of any disorder or situation involving a patient. So we have nurses on campuses who are licensed and certified medically. We wouldn't allow nurses, to engage with our students and provide medical attention or of any type if they're not licensed. We have police officers on campus that are certified by the state, right? And they wouldn't be allowed on campus if they weren't certified. So we're allowing people that have a degree in social work on campuses to engage in psychotherapy according to definition by the Arizona Board of Behavioral Health examiners. And even under the Peoria Unified job description of school social workers, almost...
Point of order? Can I get clarification from you, Ms. Airy, on that? 'Cause I saw you
Sure, President
motioning.
Sandoval, I believe this agenda item is related specifically to contract language, not to the specifics of which degree should be held by which employee group.
Okay, point of order has been called.
So the
President
question is...
Proudfoot, one moment, please. Also, the timer was not started, and we're at 1 minute and 45 seconds.
So I'll address this specifically to the language because it goes back to that. Are we now requiring social workers to have the proper state certification as required by law and fitting of the job description, or is this just a language change that
So
is
I'm
not
going
really
to
going to
call
affect
point of
anything?
order again, just because I don't know if it was quite clear that it has to stay on track with contract language. And Ms. Airy, if you can help me out on this, it feels like you're discussing degrees associated with and not the contract language, unless I'm hearing that wrong.
Again, this is not a contract specific to our social worker, mental health field workers. This is a contract for all non-professional teaching employees within the district. So we're not looking right now as to who is going to get this contract. We're simply approving the language. We will build contracts for employee groups, and those will be brought back the February 22nd board meeting. Right now, we're only looking at language that I can then go and build specific contracts for each employee group.
Thank you for that clarification, Ms. Vesley. Does that answer your question?
No, actually, because I believe Mrs. Vesley specifically mentioned social workers, so I think it's within this purview to discuss, does this language, as Mrs. Ewing said, now provide or impose a different requirement, right? Any of this language change, what impact? I'm asking a question. I'm not making a statement. I'm asking a question. What does this language change do, and does it change the requirements on the classification of people that Mrs. Vesley mentioned?
Thank you for that comment.
All right, thank you.
That being said, I need a motion to approve contract language for the 2024-2025 school year as presented for the positions of certified teachers, certified non-teaching professionals, psychologists, administrators, and letters of reasonable assurance for classified support staff.
I will motion to approve the contract language for the 2024-2025 school year as presented for the positions of certified teachers, certified non-teaching professionals, psychologists, administrators, and letters of reasonable assurance for classified support staff.
I'll second that.
We have a motion made by Ms. Ewing, a second made by Mr. Sandoval. Board members, please cast your vote. The motion passes with 5 yeas. Moving on to 7.2, discussion and consideration memorandum of understanding with the City of Glendale, integration with their real-time crime center. Turning the time over to Mr. Molino.
President Proudfoot, members of the governing board, cabinet, guests, and staff. Tonight we're bringing forward for your recommended consideration the approval of the MOU with the City of Glendale's Police Department and the Real-Time Crime Center. We'll cover the purpose of the Real-Time Crime Center, the technology integrations, the purpose, scope of the partnership, and then give the board an opportunity to ask questions. The center was opened in 2019, and its mission has been to utilize technology to safeguard the well-being of the community and enhance citizen and officer safety. When the center opened in 2019, district leadership at that time from both the operations and the technology department visited and toured the crime center. Unfortunately, at that time, the camera system that the district had in place was not compatible with the crime center's technology. In 2021 through 2022, the district replaced the old camera system at various sites with a new one. About a year ago, Mrs. Rooks reconnected the district with Assistant Chief Brandt, who oversees the crime center. We scheduled several tours of the center last spring, and Mrs. Rooks and Mrs. Ewing were both able to attend the tours. The center currently has over 1,700 cameras throughout the city of Glendale integrated into its system with partnerships with both public and private. We'll be the first school system that is integrated. This seamless integration would not be possible without the support of Chief Brandt, Assistant Chief Brandt, Chief Briggs, and the engineering and leadership teams from both Motorola Solutions, Verkada, and the City of Glendale Technology Department. All these parties working together for a year demonstrates the commitment that we all have towards public safety. The integration is possible with a custom API that Verkada Motorola Solutions created, which grants Glendale's Crime Center access to our cameras within the Verkada environment. We will also be releasing a Motorola Solutions product by Rave Mobile Safety to give staff a faster way to initiate and communicate during an event that requires fire, medical, or police support. The school resource officers and school liaison officers with both Glendale and Peoria already have access to our cameras. Written in the MOU, the district will be expanding that access to include the Real-Time Crime Center. The center will have access to all district cameras in both the city of Glendale and Peoria. Assistant Chief Brandt has offered to also provide real-time intelligence to Peoria PD while Peoria builds and brings their real-time crime center online. That is probably about 2 years away. The Crime Center is not a monitoring service of the cameras. They will only pull up a respective video feed if one of the following events occurs: a call to 911, a rave mobile safety alert, or an officer requests assistance. In other words, it has to be an active scene and request for support. The administration recommends that the governing board approve the MOU Glendale Partnership Agreement between the City of Glendale Police Department and Peoria Unified. This item will be on the February 13th City Council meeting agenda for their consideration. Once both entities approve the MOU, we will start the implementation and schedule a go-live date. At this time, administration stands for questions.
Thank you very much. I look so forward to this coming to PUSD, and it is really quite a unique and wonderful thing we have to ensure the safety of our students. If it's okay with the board, before we have board comments, would it be okay if we invited Mr. Toby up to give his comment in case his comment sparks any questions? Mr. Toby?
I just have to give me a microphone so I can sit down there. So I just want to highlight the importance of this real-time crime center. As an industry professional intimately familiar with this subject, this is such a great tool for Peoria. And the fact that Peoria Unified has this tool first in the state is going to be amazing. I know other districts are clawing at the opportunity to be able to use this to supplement their safety teams that they have on their campuses, both police officers and civilian, right? So, and even the program, so congratulations, Mr. Molino, for spearheading this project. Board Member Rooks, I know you were intimately involved in the spearheading of this operation at the beginning. I just want to say that the Rave 911 app, for example, is also going to help with communications to where if a teacher has an incident on campus, it's going to alert all the site leaders, all the other teachers, everyone's going to be on the same board. And it enhances communication, as well as the board members will be able to have that ability to be notified if a student has an emergency or if the police have to get called to a certain campus. And with a district our size and the student population our size, it's imperative that we have this tool. And I just want to voice my support for this and congratulate those that were involved, that had a hand in this project. I know it is a very technically involved situation, and I think that you guys will see it pay dividends in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Toby. Is there any other board comments? Ms. Ewing?
I'm really excited. I got a chance to tour it. I know Ms. Rooks, thank you for helping make the connections. I didn't know that piece, so thank you for doing that, because it's a really great opportunity, and I look forward to the Peoria Real-Time Crime Center. But I'm super excited about this. Anytime I talk to a community member about this, they're very excited about the safety that it'll bring to our campuses. And they're just very impressed with Peoria's commitment to student safety. Thank you.
Yeah, no, very quickly, I'm going to agree with the public comment. Mr. Toby, I mean, this is just another invaluable layer, as it relates to, safety environments here in Peoria Unified and the intentionality in creating those environments that we have as a district. So thank you for that. Just looking forward to just continue to grow the partnerships that we have with the cities of Glendale and Peoria and integrating, technology as it comes their way. So thank you.
Dr. Sorensen?
Yeah, ditto to everything that everyone said, and everyone's probably going to say after me. In total support.
Mrs. Ricks?
Yeah, this was a great opportunity to go and see the Real-Time Crime Center. I know, Mr. Molino, you came with me, and Dr. Reynolds did too. So Dr. Reynolds was really wanting to push this, and so was Mr. Molino. So I appreciate your guys' work on this with the Assistant Chief of Police, and I would like to just see if it's possible. I know the Rave mobile app that we're going to do the training and whatnot with. I know I mentioned it to Mr. Nutt a little bit, but just for if it's I don't know how it would work, but if it's possible for our principals to maybe get a chance to see the Real-Time Crime Center so that they can understand how it works, and if they have questions, just so that they're involved in that process. I think that would be a really great opportunity for them to see, like, sitting down and looking at it and seeing how it works, and to bring that safety piece back into our schools. And I think that's great that Peoria Unified will be the first district, hopefully moving forward with it. So thank you, Mr. Molino.
Yes, echo everything everyone said. I agree with Ms. Brooks. It would be great to have the admin be able to utilize and tour that so they can see the implications to the district. So thank you. That being said, I need a motion to approve the Memorandum of Understanding with the City of Glendale for integration with the Real-Time Crime Center and authorize direct administration to execute the document on behalf of the district. I will motion.
I will second.
We have a motion made by myself, a second made by Mrs. Rooks. Board members, please cast your votes. The motion passes with 5 yeas. Thank you, board members. That concludes our action items. There are no discussion items this evening, so we're going to move on to section 9.1, public comment. Our
President Proudfit, just quickly before you move on, just wanted to let you know, as well as the room, that the timer that typically displays on the screen is not working properly this evening, but we will, Mrs. Donner is keeping time for the 3-minute mark, and she will notify you once each speaker reaches the 3-minute mark.
Great, thank you very much, and thank you, Ms. Donner. Before we begin, I just want to remind everyone that speakers in the audience are to refrain from abusive or profane remarks, disruptive outbursts, applause, protests, or other conduct which disrupts or interferes with the orderly conduct of the business of the meeting. Personal attacks on board members, staff, or members of the public are not allowed. It's inappropriate to utilize a public hearing, the public comment section, or any other agenda items for the purpose of making political speeches. Engaging in such and failing to cease upon my request will be grounds for ending a speaker's time at the podium or for the removal of any disruptive person from the meeting. We have a lot of public comment tonight. The first one is Kyle Frey.
Didn't know I was going to be first. Good evening, President Proudfit, board members, and guests. Just wanted to say thank you for the consideration of moving comments around. And I think there's good arguments on either side to have them earlier or later, depending. I feel, though, I've been coming to these meetings for a while now. I'm not running for anything, but I'm a dad in this district. And I've seen many members of the community get up, and I think, I don't always have to agree with them, but I appreciate the stakeholders coming and sharing their piece. But I have also seen outside entities, people who have nothing to do with our district, coming here just to use this platform for performance. Whether they have a podcast or whether they're trying to rake up attention for something. I don't know what that reason is. I don't know what that thing that drives them is, but I really appreciate moving the comments, because I feel like if you get the people that are going to come here and stay here and be invested in the meeting, those are the people who have a little bit more stake in what's going on. This is not a stage for making your case of whatever you're arguing for, whatever organization you're belonging to. But it is their right to speak, and if they want to be invested, then they should be willing to stay along and participate in the meeting. There's reasons certainly to leave if you have other reasons. I've definitely had to leave earlier to get my daughter home to do homework before, but I really appreciate taking the consideration. Aside from that, I want to give a shout out to Cactus High. A few weeks ago, they had Honor Band there, and it's really great. My kids have been involved in band for a long time. Kate Manasco at Centennial just does such a fantastic job. And going and getting to watch them there was amazing. And I appreciate all the support of music and arts here in the district. My wife and I, when we decided to come to Peoria, it was because this was such a good district, and that was in 2009. I believe it continues to be a good district, so I appreciate all the hard work that everyone puts in. I appreciate the teachers taking the time who are here tonight that come to these meetings after a day of teaching. I'm in education myself. I had huge tech issues this morning trying to fight with my computer just to print out flyers from my students. So I understand the tech issues that go on, but I appreciate you again, and thank you all for everything that you do. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Frey. I'm sorry, please, we have to refrain from applause during public comment. Our next speaker is Mia. We'll put her aside. She might have had to step out. Our next speaker is Laura Tepizan.
Good evening to all. Few insights from a Peoria parent with 30 years experience in the public school sector. I am direct and honest and fight against political games played by all sides, nonsense and lack of integrity, and I have learned quite a lot during this past couple of years to separate truth from fiction and purposely false statements. Also this year, it's different. I hope it's going to be different, and there will be no divisiveness. You know what I mean. Coming November, I want to wrap up and bring closure to a couple of items. Generalizations that PUSD teachers and social workers indoctrinate is wrong. If any employee brings CRT, gender, sexual content materials, or topics to classrooms of such topics, board must adopt the zero tolerance policy as in termination of employment. Teachers, leaders, parents, and students need to understand that the unaltered social and emotional learning doesn't happen over here and academics over there. They are not working against each other, but there is a true partnership. Students and in teachers' classrooms are not robots. They come with emotions. Their parents drop them off at 6:30 a.m. and pick them up at 6 p.m. in many cases. Educators must keep the academic focus while simultaneously make sure that their well-being is centered during the instruction time, in school time. Behavior interventionists are so much needed. Many kids don't have parents. Boys are not allowed to step foot in the girls' locker rooms area or showers in PUSD. One boy at one high school was allowed to use the girls' bathrooms due to a special care plan that went wrong. During somebody else's presidency in 2016-2017, there were issues with transgender allowed to use bathrooms, but there was no commotion. Where were the patriots and Christian conservatives then? Back in 2018, the Ninth Circuit Court declared unconstitutional reading Bible verses during board meetings. Why were no Christian conservatives surrounding the court to boycott the decision or take it further then or now? Why are no Christian conservatives, senators, activist leaders speaking themselves at board meetings? Because many topics are fabricated, because it is convenient and safe to sit with legs crossed rather than standing strong on them and speak up and use the blindfolded followers to do it? Why are no conservatives speaking to a majority conservative school board next door in Dysart so they can adopt the bathroom policy and the Bible reading policy first? They can. Their vote would be 5-0, right? The board unanimously must realize that you have to act and stop the insults and defend this district. Bring on the facts when others bring fairy tales, and do fix what is wrong indeed. There are high school students still vaping and bringing drugs to school. There are students who are watching board meetings. There are students who interview the superintendent and have officially on paper asked you and the community of parents to stop the political games and attend to real issues. Thank you.
I'm so sorry. Thank you for your comment, Ms. Tepizan. Our next public comment is Byron Coulter.
Ladies and gentlemen, President Proudfit, members of the governing board, and community members, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak before you tonight. I stand here before you as a current substitute teacher, but only 4.5 months ago, I was a full-time teacher at Liberty High School. I was hired last summer as the newly appointed band director. For only 3 short months, I had a very good thing going. Unfortunately, what I thought would be a long and promising tenure suddenly came to an abrupt halt in late September as I faced a horrendous tragedy, which ultimately led to my final decision to resign from the district. I was put on paid administrative leave because reports of alleged misconduct were reported to the district office. On October 3rd, when I was brought into the district office for questioning, I learned that a group of students fabricated a story about me and lied to administrators that I had erections in the classroom and during marching band rehearsals. To be clear, that allegation is false. I never have, nor would I ever be sexual.
Point of order.
Yeah, point of order.
I'm sorry, this is a televised, there's students from all over the district. I would ask you to keep your comments in line with what you would say in a classroom.
Some of the questions that I have been asking myself day and night are, why did my prayers go unanswered? Where was the support when I needed it? Answers are supposed to defy human understanding. The rule of law in this country is that every human is innocent until proven guilty. Since when has that rule of law no longer applied to teachers? Why do teachers no longer have rights in a vote? How is it acceptable for teachers to automatically be labeled as guilty before proven innocent? The fact of the matter is that the students who made these false allegations are most likely celebrating and high-fiving each other to this day in secrecy because they feel like they got away with defamation, a civil tort punishable by law. There was no physical evidence to substantiate these claims, only hearsay. I see I'm out of time. I will continue at the next board meeting. And I just want to promote that I have a sign-up sheet for teacher activist rights. If anyone is interested in joining my cause, please come
order.
Point of order.
President
I don't
Proudfoot.
think you
Thank
can solicit for that in here.
Thank you. Our next comment is Ms. Janet Klepak. Thank you.
You got it. Why don't we tee the time going up here like we used to? Thank you. Board members, these public comments are here for Peoria residents and taxpayers before your voting agenda for knowledge and understanding for your voting community wants. Didn't happen tonight. Thank you for trying. Thank you, Creator God, for starting to answer prayer. Superintendent of all Arizona schools, Tom Horn, at a state capitol event, announced placement in the Arizona School Portal, which is azed.gov, free school standard curriculum, open for teachers' use, parents' viewing and use, wholesome, objective, factual, truthful, patriotic, PragerU Kid curriculum, supports pro-American values, choice for all, not federal government pushing evil, not wasting Peoria tax dollars that was mentioned at the last meeting, over $100,000 paid to research to improve high school math scores? Remember, public schools have been around for 400 years. Math has not changed. Pray with me, believers, as I paraphrase Exodus 3:7-8. For today's Peoria schools and board's evil, we are awakening, Lord God, to our children, our grandchildren's cries and misery of the suffering that you have literally seen, God. Come down, rescue our children now from the evil government federal schools.
Point of order.
Why? Is my time stopping or is it still
Oh, your
ticking?
time should be stopping, so it should be at 53 or 54. For the language being used about the evil,
to me, it's
think
good
it
and
meets
evil.
Are
we to talk to each other, or do I have my 3 minutes?
It goes when a point of order is called. The president calls for what is the point of order, and then the president makes the decision on whether to go forward. It is not an opportunity. Unfortunately, that's not the way it's set up through
So
open
you
meeting
can look
law
at the
to have
president and
dialogue.
talk to her and tell
And
her.
I'm letting you know that process.
Thank you. I think what she's referring to is not what is being said, but rather how it's being said. And and the rules for public comment is to not openly attack any members of the board or the public. Please continue with that in mind.
Thank you so much. Rescue our children now, God, from the federal government school, pushing documents on our children wrapped up under educational
order.
learning.
I'm sorry, the language. And
which word didn't you like?
How are you speaking about saying that we are pushing?
Well, guess what? My words, I feel it, I see it, it is. It is. That's what free speech is. Hello.
I appreciate that for you, and you can please continue, but please.
We choose to ask freedom as we fight the good fight of good, truthful, educating learning. In the name of Jesus, your Son, God, amen. Come, Jesus, come. 2 bathrooms, 2 genders, period. Male and female, God created them. Hold accountable the ones who pushed and initiated the so-called test of males in the girls' bathroom. How about the student that got beat 8 times on the head? Are you going to pretend that didn't happen? How about the effects of the girls having to deal with this? We're going to pretend it didn't happen. I want accountability.
Thank you. Our next public comment is Christina Rogers.
Good evening. First of all, I would just like to ask for you guys to reconsider putting public comments back to the beginning of the meeting. I personally feel it's a big slap in the face to your stakeholders. Many parents are busy raising babies, feeding them, doing homework during this time at night, getting them to bed, doing the things that parents need to do. And you're asking them to choose between taking care of their kids at home and taking care of their kids' education. Both are important. Luckily, my kids can put themselves to bed, my kids can feed themselves, but there are plenty of parents that cannot, that don't have that flexibility. So I'm just asking for you guys to take that into consideration and be considerate to families that cannot stay here all night. I've been here and meetings till 11 p.m. Not a lot of people can do that. So I'm just asking for you guys to move it back to where it was, just so you guys can hear from the stakeholders. Either way, you guys are here all night, but there are parents that are unable to be here all night long. And it is our children's education that you guys are affecting. So you should want to hear from the parents in this district. And I know that you are still hearing from them, but it may diminish some of the people from coming because they can't stay, because they do have kids' sports to get to, homework to get to, and all those things. And it's not that it's not important to them. It's just that their kids need to get places and get things done. So I'm just really asking you guys to just move it back so it allows those parents who can't stay here all night like some of us can. And I'm sure even some of the teachers as well, they have plenty of things to do as well. And both sides, I appreciate hearing from all sides. We all have a point of view, and it all should be heard. And we may not all appreciate or like what everybody says, but we're all stakeholders in this, so I think that it would be important to hear from them first.
Thank you. Our next public comment is from Janelle Bowles.
Hi, good evening. Board and President Proudfit. I would like to voice my support in the Real Crime Time Center, and I'm very excited about that. And to say thank you to Mr. Molina and Board Member Mrs. Rooks for spearheading that vital system. Sorry, my voice is kind of in and out right now. I too would like to speak on changing public comment. While I hear, President Proudfit, you stated efficacy being the reason public comment was moved. I can appreciate that, but I would like the board to reconsider moving that agenda item back to where it was for reasons we've already heard, and you're going to hear the same from me. But I want to make a comment in addition to that. I don't want to be an echo. I want to be a voice that's heard. And I know you've heard the same thing over and over and over, but I think we need to start listening and not just being an echo. It's unfortunate that parents have to be here longer. I worked in special ed. I mean, homework, 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 homework. What do you say to that? You know, and single parents and other things, and just quality time with your family, stakeholders, community. You know, it's a waste of their time, a lot of it. We hold the rewards in the beginning for a reason, and we let families go for that reason. Just respect. I'm a huge respecter of time. So I would like that to be reconsidered. I would also like to address the appropriate certification, and speak to Mrs. Vesley. And I don't think I misunderstood that she took out, or I'm sorry, not Mrs. Vesley, but it was taken out, the certified teaching portion of the non-teaching professionals, and social workers being a part of that. So I just wanted to address that, and if we're taking out the certified piece, is there a piece in there that says the non-teaching professionals have to be certified? And what does that mean? Does it mean licensing or certified by the state, or, you know, where does that certification come from? Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Vesley, will you follow up with Ms. Bowles? Thank you. Our next comment is from Mr. Jeff Toby.
When I was a younger guy, I actually served in a different role. I was part of the tactical response unit, and there was the presence of the National Socialist Movement coming downtown to march the streets. Swastika flags, armbands, the whole nine. And my supervisor at the time looked at me and said, "Jeff, I understand if you want to sit this one out," knowing me being Jewish. And my grandfather served in World War II. He fought the Nazis and came to America to start a new life. And I told my sergeant, I said, "Listen, if I don't do what I'm sworn to do and uphold free speech, then my grandfather had served for nothing." The encounter that I just witnessed really bothered me just now, because I, as a Jew, obviously I don't necessarily believe in Jesus Christ, but I respect somebody coming up here and voicing their opposition of policies that are being presented as a district, or feelings that they have on the matter, or thoughts that incorporate an aspect of religion. We have to respect that, whether we believe it or not. And I think that squelching that, you might have infringed on her rights. So I'm a little bit astounded. And I'm 1,000% for free speech. And I believe that our 3 minutes are our 3 minutes. And I didn't hear anything that was directly attacking. Obviously, if we individually single somebody out of the board and directly attack somebody of the board for something that's not in the scope of their duties, then that might come under the purview of a point of order, in my opinion. I do believe there is Ninth Circuit Supreme Court ruling on this, that if you want to praise an official or a board member or a teacher, a public school teacher, they are a public servant. They, just as much as they are allowed to be applauded, they are also subject to being criticized, whether you like it or not. And I think that maybe the board, moving forward, could benefit from some education on free speech if this is going to be the movement moving forward. Like I said, I don't necessarily agree with everybody's position that comes up here, but it's their 3 minutes. And as long as we're within the scope of their constitutional rights, we have to respect that. And that really bothered me, and I think we should do better.
Thank you, Mr. Toby. Our final comment is from Ms. Teddy Todd.
Good evening, everybody. President Proudfit and board, cabinet, and those in our audience and those who can see us online. My comments tonight are appreciation for what I saw Friday at the Vistancia Elementary. That was a team effort. That was community, that was students, that was teachers, that was a custodian, that was the principal, that was the frontline staff. And it was every grade of every student there. And the grief counseling that was provided by the district, awesome. It was a unified approach by one school, one building, and they were pulling together. And I thank all those who were a part of it. And thank you. I'm serving on the textbook review. Oh my gosh, folks. The textbook review is done by a rubric. That's unreal. If you think you've been evaluated for all the things you've ever done, oh, those poor textbooks, they're getting really reviewed. And this time for the foreign language and for sign language. They're working hard. Those are hours being put in, and excellent processes, excellent. Also trying to work with the school district. There's a lot of things to learn, and we can learn them right here in this board meeting with all these presentations that are given by staff, and the questions that you all ask are critical. When we, the people, can come in with questions that are really critical questions, it makes the difference into the process of what we're all trying to do. And we're trying to have the best education possible. The CTE students, the programs that are out there, I have been up to Peoria High School, I've been over to Sunrise High School, and I have been to several elementaries. You have staff and building leadership that are working so hard for these students. We've come through some tough times, and it's going to be tough again. I really appreciate hearing all the views that come, and I respect all those reviews, but I also would like to hear everyone speak in a calm voice. I know we can be upset with different things. I had a granddaughter at Liberty. I know different situations and other things that do go on. Having been an educator most of my life in
I'm
a
so
many other
sorry,
fields.
it's time, Mrs.
I am
Todd.
time. All right. I thank you for your attention, and you go board, and you go cabinet, and you all keep speaking, okay?
I wanted to, add one more. Mia has arrived. Do you want to come, public comment from?
Thank you. I am one of these parents that we're talking about. So in my opinion, I feel like the board president pushed the public comments to the end so that parents don't have an opportunity to come and voice their concerns. By putting public comment at the end of the meeting, you've now eliminated thousands of parents who are probably putting their kids to sleep, feeding them dinner, just like everybody else is saying the same things that I was at home doing right now before I had to come run back here. So obviously I don't agree with that. So I guess I'm just asking you, the board president, do you care enough about the parents, the community members, and the students to move public comment back to its original place on the agenda? And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our public comment section. We're going to move on to Section 10, informational reports. First, we have 10.1, our report on upcoming meetings and events. Ms. Airy?
President Proudfit, the only highlight this evening is for the upcoming Peoria Arts and Cultural Festival. And if you know, you know. If you have attended this event, it is really something special, a great partnership between the Peoria Education Foundation, the City of Peoria, and the Peoria Unified School District, where we really put a spotlight on Peoria Unified's arts education programs. We have thousands and thousands of students and families in attendance, and of course, we invite you, governing board members, to join us on Saturday, March 2nd, and we hope to see our community there as well.
Great, thank you. Moving on to 10.2, legislative, state, and local updates. Ms. Myers?
Yes, well, thank you. Good evening, President Proudfit, members of the governing board, community, and cabinet. We are in the 5th week of the legislative session, and Monday, February 5th, was the last day for the introduction of new bills. Two areas of focus this legislative session are the aggregate expenditure limit, also known as the AEL, and permanent fund distribution related to Prop 123 being extended. The bills and resolutions related to the AEL came in a variety of forms, from eliminating the AEL to rebasing the AEL. There are also competing Prop 123 extension proposals and numerous bills and resolutions that have been introduced on this topic. Bonds and override elections are also being discussed. Bills have been introduced to extend the length of an override to 10 years, limit elections to even-numbered years only, and to require 60% of eligible voters for passage of bond measures, as well as the addition of additional language to ballots related to the tax rate. So that's a summary of some of the bills and discussions that are taking place. And as of today, many bills have yet to be heard in committee, which can result in a long committee agenda as the deadline for hearing bills in the House of Origin is quickly approaching. And with that, that concludes my report this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. We're moving on to 10.3, District Budget Report for the month of December 2023. A reminder, these reports are available on our website for your viewing. Moving to 10.4, District Enrollment Reports. We have Mr. Molino.
President Proudfit, the district enrollment reports are available on the website.
And we do have a public comment tied to this item. Mr. Jeff Toby.
Hello again. Just a question, if it can get some clarification. And I think I talked to Mr. Molino ahead of the meeting, but on the last part of the report where it says the grand total, so we're talking from, I guess it's COOP all the way through high school, 12th grade. We currently have 35,025 students. And then previously, it says 35,117 students. It doesn't note what previous means. Is that previous, I would assume, month? So it shows we lost 92 students last month. And then below that, it says last year. I would assume it means year to date or this time last year, that we're down 958 students. So almost 1,000 students were down. Why are we losing students mid-year, or if we're comparing December to December? Am I reading that right? And can somebody shed some light on that for me? And if that is accurate, what are we doing to retain 1,000 of our students?
Thank you. And Mr. Molino, will you follow up with Mr. Toby? Thank you very much. Moving on to section 11, other business. 11.1, this is board members' opportunity to readdress any agenda items. Ms. Ewing?
I don't have any, thank you.
Mr. Sandoval?
I don't have anything either.
Dr. Sorensen?
No, ma'am.
Mrs. Rooks?
No, thank you.
And there's nothing for me. Moving on to 11.2, requests for agenda items for future governing board meetings. Mrs. Ewing?
I just have a request, and it can be a Friday report. With the transition, with the superintendent coming in, is there any way we can have a report of when we did the previous listening tour, the transition with Dr. Reynolds? Can we have a report of all of the community groups he got in front of? Does that make sense what I'm asking for?
President Proudfit, Mrs. Ewing, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Mr. Sandoval?
Yeah, thank you. Friday report, without question. I think it would be helpful if we can get a get details on the community forums that we used to hold. As we went into COVID, I think they were invaluable. It allowed for dialogue, right? And I think it'll help even, our meetings, our governing board meetings where, during public comment, right, it's really public speaking about their concerns and certainly cheers as well. But, due to opening meeting law governance, we're not able to respond, but these community forums do allow for, more of a dialogue between community, board, district. So if we can get a Friday report on what those look like and maybe even the potential of having those on a quarterly basis and bringing those back. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will second.
Oh, excuse me.
Mr. Molina, I'll second Melissa's.
And then Melissa is seconding.
Yes.
Mr. Sandoval's. Dr. Sorensen?
No, ma'am.
Mrs. Rooks?
I just would like to have a discussion on PragerU, since our Arizona Superintendent of Arizona has shared that information on the website. So if there's a way to, I'm looking at Dr. Hernandez, if there is a way to maybe have some detailed information of what that is, maybe presented to a board, an official board meeting at whenever is possible.
I will second. And I don't have anything else further for tonight. So moving to adjournment, I need a motion to adjourn this meeting at 7:34 p.m.
I will motion to adjourn at 7:34 p.m.
I will second. Board members, cast your vote. Motion carries. Oh. Do we need to redo that, or do you just want to go on record as? Mrs. Ewing wants to stay. Can you take us through a voice vote so then we just can make it official, don't have to?
Mrs. Ewing?
Yes.
Sorry. Mr. Sandoval?
Yes.
President Proudfit?
Yes.
Dr. Sorensen?
Yes.
Mrs. Rooks?
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight and for your wonderful comments. We'll see you again soon.